What are your expectations for the Auburn Tigers in 2023? Going to give you a win total expectation on my end here in just a little bit. But let's talk about the state of Auburn football right now. I've said it before on here. I will echo that sentiment right now. Auburn now, for the first time in a hot minute, has everybody pulling in the same direction. It didn't feel that way under Bryan Harsin. It didn't feel like you had all parts of the Auburn body lifting together. You had boosters feeling one way, you had Bryan Harsin doing another thing, and it was just, it felt messy. It felt messy. And the reason why I think Auburn is dangerous both this year and going forward is they have a lot under the hood at Auburn, and you now have everybody lifting together. NIL resources. From what we're hearing, it sounds like they have a pretty strong reservoir of resources to be competitive in modern college football. It is no longer a luxury. It is a non-negotiable. And so for Auburn to be one of the haves in modern college football in terms of NIL resources, that's enormous. Recruiting base. You are situated in the southeast part of the United States. Translation, you have access to some of the best talent in the entire country. And you don't have to hop on an airplane to get there. You can drive to the majority of these locations where premier five-star talent resides. That's not something everybody in the country can say. That's not something all programs can say. And so for Auburn to have that, that's a prerequisite, again, to being dominant in the college football landscape, even being competitive in the college football landscape. The X's and the O's, yes, it's an old coach saying you got to have the X's and the O's. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes. A lot of Jimmies and Joes not too far from Auburn, Alabama. Really nice for the recruiting trail. The brand is also very powerful at Auburn. It's been down recently, but there's a lot of people that want to come and play at Auburn. The Auburn logo holds some weight, and we'll talk about this more in a second, but the transfer portal haul they currently have, number 4 in the entire country, according to us here at On3. There's a lot of players with options that are deciding, I want to go and play for the good folks at Auburn, Alabama. I want to go and be a part of what Hugh Freeze is now building there. Because recently they hadn't had a great reason. They hadn't had a ton of confidence to go and play at Auburn because you're thinking every couple of minutes, hey, is Bryan Harsin going to be here? Week in and week out, that was the question. Is Bryan Harsin going to be the man next week at Auburn? It's the bye week. Surely they're going to make a change here. Now they've officially made that change. The branding at Auburn, I believe, is very, very powerful. There's a lot under the hood. And for the first time, it feels like Auburn is lifting with the entire body. You hear it all the time. Hey, don't lift with your back. Whenever you're moving or maybe you're doing a workout in the weight room, they always tell you don't lift with your back, lift with your legs. For starters, because that's the strongest part of your body, your legs. The second piece is that allows the rest of your body to serve the proper function. Then you're able to allow your core to be strong, and then your arms can do more work. It just allows every muscle within this operation to achieve maximum efficiency, maximum capacity. There's a lot under the hood at Auburn. And 2023 could be a year where you make a big jump. We'll talk about that more in a second. If you have not yet subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel, we'd love to have you here. We got college football content every single day. Live on Tuesdays, live on Thursdays is the hard count, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. I want to hear from y'all. Come hang out in the live chat. We have a good time there. It's a college football community that y'all have slowly but surely cultivated. Well, really not that slowly at all. A community that y'all have built in a very short period of time, and we're very grateful to have you a part of this. And if you have not yet joined the party, no time like the present. Like I said, we would love to have you. Also, follow me on the social channels at JD Piquel on Twitter as well as on Instagram. A great medium for us to interact, do more of what you want to see. So here's going to be the difference maker for me at Auburn in 2023. The first is, what is the spectrum of impact from your transfers? Right now, you got 12 transfers coming in to Auburn, Alabama. Again, number 4 class in the entire country, according to us here at On3, is the transfer portal class. My main concern is with the defense as it pertains to the transfers. That's where I think we'll see the majority of the salt that they're worth, the majority of the impact, because last year you allowed right around 31 points a game. That is not winning football. You know it. I know it. Everybody at Auburn knows it. And they have 6 transfers on the defensive side of the football. The way that I'm looking at that, you got 6 new guys that are either going to start or contribute for you on that side of the football. How much do you hit with those transfers? Does that make sense? How much of an impact are they able to have? Because Austin Keys, is he going to be a game breaker for you? Could he be a game changer and totally just revamp this entire defense the way the offenses have to play week in and week out? Or is it just sort of status quo. Maybe we're a field goal better. Maybe we're a touchdown better. What's the impact? Can the defense hold up their end of the bargain? It's going to be a really important piece of this whole operation in 2023. The second thing I'm looking at for Auburn in terms of how much they're going to improve and what your expectations should be for them going forward, what is the progress of a one Robbie Ashford? Looked for a while like Auburn was in the transfer quarterback market. One thing led to another, probably another video for another time. Didn't end up happening, at least in the early transfer portal cycle. There'll be a post-spring cycle. I don't anticipate them going with the transfer quarterback in game one. I believe Robbie Ashford will be your starter for the 2023 season. Could be good news, could be bad news, depending on what he does going forward and what his progress is, because Hugh Freeze has a track record of success with quarterbacks, especially dual threat quarterbacks, which Robbie Ashford is. Malik Willis came from Auburn, actually, to Liberty, played for Hugh Freeze when got himself drafted. Did some exciting things at Liberty. Is Robbie Ashford going to be a version of what you saw in 2022, where he had 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 49% completion percentage? I understand he wasn't healthy the whole year, but still, I'm going to hold you to what those numbers were. It wasn't consistently winning football from Robbie Ashford. Got a lot of criticism, some of it fair, some of it unfair. At the end of the day, the way that he played, healthy or unhealthy, wasn't good enough to get Auburn to where they expect to be in the future. So, is he going to stay the same, or does he progress in a tremendous way? Is he more accurate with the football and closer to that 60% completion percentage? Is he able to take advantage of the weapons they're going to have at Auburn? The weapons that you would hope step up at Auburn, rather. Because the quarterback, to me, is the heart of this entire operation, especially on offense. Your team, yes, but especially, let's look at the offense. If the heart isn't beating properly, if it's not operating at maximum capacity, the rest of the body is not going to be able to function to the degree that it's needed at Auburn. So Robbie Ashford is the heart of this offense. Whether you like it or not, that's who you're riding with. Does Hugh Freeze equip him to get even better, to do more in 2023? I think that's crucial. So in terms of expectations, the one thing I would say, we're talking about Jimmys and Joes, and we're talking about who's going to be your starter at quarterback. I just want to say this, and this is probably the most encouraging thing for me with Hugh Freeze taking over the operation at Auburn. The culture has not soured. And if it was going to, it had many opportunities to do so a year ago. A lot of that, I think, is credited to Cadillac Williams. A lot of that's credited to that locker room, because they were competitive through the tape last year. I mean, through the very last game, Auburn was fighting and scratching and clawing. They finished with a 5-7 record. They had 2 losses by 1 score. They had a lot of games that really could have gone either way, and that's a lot to be said when your head coach gets fired very early in the season, and you have a different quarterback starting game 1 as you do finishing the year for you. I don't think the culture is sour at Auburn, Alabama, which to me is the main building block that you go from now. There's a base here. It's got to get revamped, got to get reinforced and tweaked and fine-tuned, but I don't think it's a knock the whole operation out, start from ground zero. There's some things to build off of here with Auburn. And if the transfers, especially on defense, can have a high impact for you, Robbie Ashford takes the next step. I think the number that I put on Auburn in 2023, conservatively, probably that 7-win mark. I think you can stretch it to 8. I think 8 wins is very realistic. And for year 1, under Hugh Freeze, in the toughest conference in America, I think you take 8 wins, especially having missed a bowl game last year. 8 wins would be a tremendous first year for Hugh Freeze and Auburn. And that would just be the start. I don't believe that's where they stay with Hugh Freeze. I think that the sky is the limit for them. So for Auburn, now everybody is pulling in the same direction. They are now officially lifting with their legs, and every part of what Auburn has under the hood has a chance now to get involved and work cohesively. The transfers, can they have a big impact, especially on defense? Can Robbie Ashford take the next step? Because the culture, for my money, from what I saw last year with how they competed game in and game out, especially late in the year, told me a lot about this team. So I'm excited to watch Auburn in 2023. I'm excited for Hugh Freeze to take over that program. We're going to watch this thing like a hawk. Rather, we'll watch this thing like an eagle, a war eagle, if you will. We appreciate you rocking with us. Nick, break, lift, and heavy. This is your show. Everything that you know and love about this beautiful game we talk about here every single day. We'd love to have you locked in, subscribed, and a part of this community. Follow me on the socials at JD Pickell on Twitter and Instagram. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.